Now, as Jesus knelt in the garden, the crucifixion was yet a day away, or 2 days away. I believe it was 2 days away this time. But at 2 days away, he cried and he grabbed the grass. I'm just giving you a vision. But he grabbed the grass and he picked it up and he looked to the heavens and he opened his hands and he asked the questions, "Why, Lord? Why can't this cup pass from me?" Does that make you question your Lord? That he had reservations about the cross? That he had what some would call fears of death? Does that make you question your Lord or your loyalty to your Lord? It doesn't me. You know what it does to me? It makes me feel so much more close to Him because I know He knows me. When I fear and I have reservations about something I got to do, He knows that feeling. I guarantee you He could have skipped that feeling. You know? You have to understand that at any moment of Christ's life, not just we preach about when He was on the cross of Calvary, He could have looked up and called 1,000 legions of angels and they would come and no more harm would come. But all His life, those legions were right there. But even at this moment, He chose to go through the fear and the reservations of death. To know you and I. There's not a person here that won't go through some type of fear in their life. Deep fear. Or reservations about something that we got coming in the days ahead. And that is our Lord. No, it doesn't make me question Him. It makes me know Him better. It makes me look at Christ tonight and say, I know Him better because He knows me better. Verse 7 goes on and talks about His fear, and then it says in verse 8, though He were a son, He yet learned obedience. One of the greatest things that Christ showed us was the obedience to God's will. He surrendered lordship. He surrendered power. He surrendered all of these things to have a normal life as you and I have. You see, because we don't have that option. We don't have the option to go to a certain point in life and say, okay, this is over. I'm Lord. And you kneel down, I'm done with this mess. But He did. But He chose the entire time of His existence to be obedient. Now, here's the thing about it. He didn't come programmed to obedience. He didn't come as a robot saying, okay, in his 20s and say, okay, well, God has trained him and sent him here and turned him on and he's completely obedient. What did He do? He chose to be born just as you and I are born. And as we're born, we have to learn. Not only learn, but decide for ourselves what is right and wrong. What is God's path? What is not God's path? So the Bible tells us tonight that Christ was born an infant, a newborn, a baby. That He also would learn obedience. That He would learn that the most important thing, and He had to decipher this out of all the teachings that are already out there. He deciphered out that the will of God was the most important of all other wills. Even the will of His Father. Remember in the temple? He said, I got to be about my Father's business. You understand? Now, I'm going to ask you a question. If you get it right, then we can go on. Get it wrong, it's another 30 minutes. This question of Christ going back to be born to learn obedience. Why did he need to learn obedience? Why couldn't he come with obedience? Why did the Bible have to tell us tonight in verse 9 that he learned, or verse 8, that he learned obedience?
7 and 9.
7 and 10. If Christ is to set an example on something, it shows us that we too can do it. This is the purpose. The whole purpose about being born an infant is because it starts right there. As far back as we can reach in our own lives, so can we reach in Christ. And if we can reach there in Christ, there's an example. And if ever there's an example, it's knowledge to me that I can do it. If Christ, what Christ was showing us is this: if he could learn obedience out of all the jumbled up mess in the world, and understand that Christ didn't have no perfect child. They were on the run for a good bit of time in the first years. On the run, honestly. And in a strange country now, Egypt. Now you know that Egypt didn't even have the same religion at the time. So it's all jumbled up. But if Christ can go back and he can learn obedience. Now let's not just say obedience, but true, centered in God, obedience of a perfect will through God, we can too. If Christ can learn that God's will is more important than any other will in the world, even the will of the country, the will of a land or a freedom or any of that stuff, the will of God is even that more important than his life. Because not only did he cry and reach out for God's assistance in the garden, but he also, after that, he stepped up and he obeyed the will. Even with reservations, even with fear of the absolute unknown, Christ obeyed the will. So it's even more important that I can not only picture Christ in the garden, but I can picture myself in the garden. I can picture myself in a situation that I don't know how to do, or that I have just great fear of, or I am confused or terrified. And with all of these reservations upon me, I still can stand up and take a step in obedience to Christ. Why? Because he can. Whatever he did here, he said we could do. We could do. And that's why it's an example. So, listen. What's all this about? Well, it's about Christmas. Christmas is coming, and the reindeer is going to turn on his nose, and the jingle bells are going to ring, and the sleigh bells, and Santa's going to go ho, ho, ho. But after all that's over, boy, I hope we don't fly right by Christ. Because Christ is Christmas. His birth. His decisions to be a child is Christmas. That relationship that he put out there that we may know him as he knows us is Christmas. His fear and his reservations, as our fear and reservations, is Christmas. Never be the world's biggest smoke screen in 2 days that you'll ever see. things that go on. And all these other traditions that you're supposed to do. The most important of all would be just to kneel down on your knees. December 24th, 25th, I don't care. But something. And say, Jesus, thank you for being born.